to West Country Wanderings and welcome to another adventure here today. I'm in the capital city of Wiltshire. I'm in the city of Salisbury. Just got off the train down from Westbury. I'm going to head over now to the cathedral to meet up with a fellow YouTuber. Now walking through Queen Elizabeth Gardens, so we meet up down by the cathedral. Very pleasant gardens here. I'm afraid things are a bit wet today. I'll try and keep the lens cover as rain-free as I possibly can, but inevitably there'll probably be some splatters over the lens. It's not heavily raining, it's just one of those horribly lightly showery, but we've got some strong winds, which means it'll flick over towards the lens inevitably. But yeah, the river there, I'm not sure which river that one is, because Salisbury is built at the confluence of three rivers. The River Avon. Now that's not the Avon we've come across before. It's not the one, the Warwickshire Avon, that ends up in the River Severn. It's not the one that goes through northern part of Wiltshire and ends up in Bristol, but it's the South Wiltshire and Hampshire Avon, which is a chalk river. There are two other rivers, the River Nadder and the River Bourne. So here we are at the cathedral in Salisbury. It's surrounded by a fabulous Cathedral Close, which I think, Louise, is...
I believe it's the largest in the UK. I was doing some research last night and yeah, I think it's the largest in the UK.
Brilliant. So so we've got Louise here with me from Southwest Sundays. Louise has got a fabulous channel looking at the southwest of England as well. Her videos cover the similar sort of area that I do, but they are a bit of a different take on it sometimes in terms of how she interprets the towns and cities. Well worth checking out her channel. It's absolutely brilliant. If you like the sort of things that I do, I'm sure you'll love Louise's channel as well. So no problem. We're here today to have a look around. We're going to see if we can get inside that cathedral as well.
Oh, but, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. So carry on the tour here on the channel. See you in a bit. Just outside the entrance to the cathedral we have this Easter garden. Obviously symbolic of what happened at Easter in the Bible. Looks absolutely amazing. Dark, isn't it? It is. Thank you, Louise. This is the world's oldest mechanical working clock, made in 1386, or possibly earlier. Now the clock has no dials or hands, but you can tell the time because every hour it strikes a bell. So this is a model of the cathedral, which was built over a period of 38 years, starting from 1220 to 1258. But the site here in the centre of the city wasn't the site of the original cathedral. That was at a place called Arsaram, just a couple of miles north of here. We've just found something really interesting here in the cathedral. The spire and tower is actually the tallest in England, and it's I'm looking at the sign there, 121 metres, but this was on top of it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This used to be on top of the spire, but it got damaged in the Second World War. And you can see, I don't know if you can focus on it, some damage here, and that's thought to have occurred during the Second World War.
That's absolutely fascinating. It's just amazing to think that that survived Second World War and then obviously taken down to be repaired. But an incredible spire and tower that we have here at Salisbury Cathedral. Thanks, Louise.
Thank you.
So this is the chapter house where the Magna Carta is kept. Can't actually film it itself. It's in that white box over there, just in front of where Louise is now. You have to go through the curtain to view it. Now all around the chapter house, you have these carvings, carved stone frieze, which goes entirely around the chapter house, and it shows 60 stories from the first two books of the Bible. So there's where you view the Magna Carta. It's a photo of what it looks like there in the gold, and then you have a translation of it alongside. Now, the Magna Carta that's kept here in the chapter house is one of 4 copies, but this one is the best preserved example. So we've just come out of the chapter house where they got the Magna Carta. Louise, what do you think about Salisbury Cathedral as a whole, as an experience just to go around it properly?
Oh my goodness, it's just amazing. Like, I've been to loads of cathedrals, but this one I think is one of the most interesting ones I've been to. And just looking at the Magna Carta there as well, that was just amazing. And just incredible how so much text was written onto that tiny piece of manuscript there.
Yes,
yeah, and some of the laws were quite funny as well.
What was one of them? There was something about foresters.
Fish. Oh yeah.
And fish, the fish.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that you weren't allowed to be told to build a bridge, and if you lived in a forest, you had to undergo different laws, or you were accountable to different people. But only a tiny proportion of that Magna Carta law now stands, and they've done a translation. It's in bold, wasn't it? In bold print.
Just a few.
Just a few
laws still remain.
Yes, yeah. Amazing place.
It's
you have
really
the architecture as well is just well worth coming to see as well.
Definitely.
We've only been able to give you a flavour of it here. But yeah,
definitely, it's a
amazing
really
place.
amazing cathedral. Definitely come here if you're in the Salisbury area.
Yes. Thank you, Louise. So now come outside of the cathedral. We're just going to have a walk around the Cathedral Close because there's very many prominent buildings. Unfortunately, a couple of them aren't open. One of them is the former home of the former UK Prime Minister, Sir Edward Heath. His house and his gardens are sometimes open to the public. There's also a National Trust property here called Montpesson House, but yeah, you guessed it, that's not open today either. I think they'll all be opening up as we get into Easter. But it's a delightful place to have a wander around, and the architecture of the buildings is phenomenal. Got beautiful signs of spring here just outside of the cathedral, and we're just going to have a walk around to identify some of these interesting buildings that surround it too. Incredible piece of architecture behind me is number 68 Cathedral Close, Miles Place. I don't know what year it was built, but certainly the architecture is of a Georgian style. Here on West Country Wanderings, I don't often do cities because I get anxious in built-up places, and I tend to prefer the countryside. But suffice to say that here in Salisbury you have this wonderful Cathedral Close, which gives you a real air of space, quiet, tranquility and time for reflection too.
Oh, we're videoing us, sorry.
That's all right. No, we're just walking into town now. We're heading out of the Cathedral Close area. We're going to have a look at some other bits and pieces in the area. We've got to say we've got Montpesson House, and there's some other bits of architecture as well. There's also a couple of bits of sculpture. You were saying about one of them you saw there. Was it a bronze sculpture or metal?
Metal. It said about metal masterpiece.
Okay.
A metal masterpiece.
We'll see if we can find that. And
looks really interesting. I'm not entirely sure what it is, and just doing a bit more research on it. But yeah, it looks very interesting.
Well, we'll go and see if we can check that one out. Okay. So see you in a bit. Behind me is the Walton Cannery, and it was formerly the home, well, it was the parents of one Rex Whistler and his brother, I'm just checking the black down there, one Lawrence Whistler too. Rex Whistler was a stage designer as well as being an artist, all-round creative person, and he leased this house for his parents, but he was a regular visitor here too. Now, though it's a grey day today, we have got some colour around Cathedral Close. It's lovely to see some magnolia trees out in flower here. Just come across this blue plaque at William Golden. I used to work in W.H. Smith's, and William Golden lived in Truro, which is where I was based at the time. And he wrote the book Lord of the Flies, and it just seemed he was a schoolmaster here from 1945 to 1962 for quite some time. Well, when he retired to Cornwall, I managed to get an autograph. I brought in a copy of the Lord of the Flies, and he thankfully managed to get, autograph the book just a couple of weeks before he passed away. He was a really nice gentleman, so it's lovely to see that here in Salisbury. So we're now in the city centre, which is not familiar West Country wanderings territory at all. I did say I was going to come to a city, so yeah, so Salisbury was the city I chose. There are other videos I've done on other cities. I've done some on Exeter and Plymouth, but there are other cities I've not yet visited, like Wells and Truro, so they're
Wells
probably
is
coming
gorgeous.
up. So,
I definitely have to go to Wells.
yeah, I love Wells, so
Yeah.
that'll be coming up. So what are we going to do now, Louise? We're
We're going to go for coffee. We've
Sounds a
been
good
talking
plan.
and walking, and we're really thirsty and maybe a bit hungry as well, if I'm honest. And so we're going
Sounds
to go
good plan.
to Boston Tea Party. Boston
Okay.
Tea Party is a southwest chain of coffee shops, and in my opinion, they're the best in the southwest.
Brilliant, sounds good. We're going to go there now. So yeah, we've come to Costa Coffee. Unfortunately, other places that we're looking at closed at 4 o'clock, so we're ended up here now. It's been an absolute pleasure filming here in Salisbury today with Louise from Southwest Sundays. If you've not already had a look at Louise's channel, indeed subscribe. Yes, definitely subscribe to her channel. It's really, really good. If you like places in the West Country and the Southwest, you'll really like the sort of thing that Louise does. Interesting things that I do as well. But it's been wonderful coming around the city there. Normally outside my comfort zone in urban areas, because there's been so many other people filming and vlogging today, and also doing it with another YouTuber, I feel a lot more relaxed. It's been a real absolute pleasure. Hope you enjoyed it today. Please drop a comment below if you visited Salisbury, particular aspects of it you like. I'd love to hear from you. That's it for today on West Country Wanderings. Take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you very, very soon. All the best for now. Cheers. Goodbye.
Bye.